Good morning, good morning. I've traveled many worlds. Never have I seen such beauty anywhere. South Africa, my home, my being, my pride. Oh, 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 mama. Ngiyaziqhenya ngawe Mzansi Afrika, ubomi bami ngibubeka kuwe. Akekho omunye ofana nawe. South Africa, wherever I go, you always in my heart. I'm proud to say I'm your child. Oh, somewhere there's a place, and it's called South Africa. Somewhere there's a place, and it's called South Africa. Whoa, I've traveled many worlds. Never have I seen such beauty anywhere. South Africa, my home, my being, my pride. Ngiyaziqhenya ngawe Mzansi Afrika, akekho omunye ofana nawe. Somewhere there's a place, somewhere, yeah. South Africa, yeah. Somewhere there's a place, and it's called South Africa, and it's called South Africa. And it's called South Africa. It's South Africa.
Welcome home.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Kanyo. I mean, just listening to that. South Africa, my home, my pride. And I think that's what we all wake up wanting to feel every day. And I think this occasion really evokes that sense of pride. It certainly does for me in terms of the impact that we're having, not only in the South Africa of today, but the South Africa of the many years to come, and preserving that pride for these youngsters when they are much older and still as proud of this wonderful country as we are today. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome My name is Adam Kelly. I'm the Group Chief Commercial Officer at Richfield, and it's my pleasure to be the host for today's fantastic, very, very impactful, as I mentioned, occasion. You might wonder, you say, guys, where are we? Does anyone know where we are? Tell me about this room, anyone? You guys are in a classroom. You're in a classroom. This is where future school leavers would come to further their studies in higher education. This is where those that are participating in the maths and science and many other subjects of the Matric class of 2022 would hopefully do well enough to then continue their academic journey into higher education, and from then go and change the world like many change makers coming out of the higher education and the tertiary education sector are doing so. So you are one of those people that are sitting here right now today. You're the class of 2022, the class of 2022 that is having a huge impact on the real class of 2022. So welcome, guys. You are here not to be grilled. There was no homework, I promise. But you're here to participate in an event, as we said, that is the formal launch for the Matric Maths and Science Revision Program hosted by Primestars. And while you're not being marked, and there's no papers and assessments, you really are being thanked and acknowledged today for your contribution to not this event, but this program that is going to touch the lives of thousands and thousands of young matriculants. And with the success of the program in the past, we know that it's going to have a significant impact on that group. So just a bit about Richfield. I think a lot of you have maybe heard of Richfield, and then all of a sudden you found yourself in Bryanston and said, but hang on a minute. This is not where I thought Richfield was. But yes, we're a higher education institution that spans across many campuses all over the country, and that's complemented by our distance learning offering as well. And it starts within the undergraduate degrees and diplomas, across IT and business qualifications, and articulates up into the postgraduate. And for a lot of you sitting here thinking, do they have an MBA? I got a couple of questions earlier. I said, do you offer an MBA? Absolutely. We've got a very relevant online MBA that we've seen a fantastic uptake to. It allows flexibility, for as much flexibility as you can have when you're studying. And again, I've heard the echoes of those strains. But it really is an institution that's come leaps and bounds in the last couple of years, and we're exceptionally proud to be delivering this standard of education at, no offense to the Gauteng Department of Education, but significantly lower than price point than what many are paying at a public institution. And we pride ourselves in that because of the value that we can create for young matriculants, school leavers, as well as those working professionals that are looking to further their studies. Fantastic, exciting news in our institution is, yes, we're in the heart of Bryanston with a premium Bryanston experience, that, as many would say. But ultimately, this is the standard that we've set as an institution for all of our campuses going forward. So on the 1st of January 2023, you'll go into the Johannesburg CBD. You'll be sitting in an auditorium just like this, much bigger, 200-seater. You'll go into the Pretoria CBD, and you'll be sitting in an auditorium just like this, much bigger. You'll go into the Durban CBD, the Cape Town CBD. You'll go into Polokwane, and you'll be met with a similar standard to this, and the same price point as well. And you can do your research. I'm not here to sell. But the most exciting revelation of all in terms of this upgrade and also investment that we're making in South Africa, I can say, is our new campus in the heart of Soweto. Hashtag invest in Soweto. Taking private higher education into the township at this standard and this quality at a price point that they can afford. So we're exceptionally proud about that as an institution, and we're exceptionally proud to be hosting this. The journey with Primestars goes back many years. We've always partnered with them in various programs. They deal with the youth, and often a lot of what stands in the way of youth and their ability to exceed their potential is the barriers of affordability when it comes to education. So we've often sponsored programs where the youth, whether it be grade 11 matriculants, participate and step up for a startup. I'm sure many of you know that. we sponsor bursaries to a lot of those students. Similarly, with this program, we have the ability to not only support them within their matric year in maths and science, in these STEM subjects, but through this partnership, we're able to continue to hold their hand into tertiary education by providing bursaries for them as well. So these are recognized high potential individuals that don't have the means to be able to continue their education. And we support them in doing that as well. So it's wonderful for us to continue to hold the hand of Martin and Nkosi and the team, who, you know, I'm sure a lot of you know very well. They make it known for you to know them very well. And it's just fantastic. And we're exceptionally privileged to be part of this. So enjoy today. Enjoy the program. It's been kicked off quite beautifully thanks to Kanyo. We are streaming on social media. There is a hashtag in it with you. You can go to the Primestars page, engage, and tag yourselves. So this is being live streamed on social media, and please participate, engage. You are the class of 2022. You are the ones making a significant impact, and let's just all enjoy today's proceedings without being hammered for the answers to the questions. Max, don't worry, you're okay. I'll let you off. So without further ado, the man of the moment, and he's always introduced like this, because him and the team are doing a significant job in partnership with their full team and under the guidance of Martin, Mr. Nkosinati.
Thank you. Adam said, man of the moment. I looked behind me. I will use the podium for purposes of formalities, but also because we're quite excited to have the Mail and Guardian streaming the event this morning. We've got the team here. They're going to be extending it to the wider audience, and I'd like to acknowledge the Mail and Guardian for ensuring that we can continue to reach more audiences and wider audiences with this important initiative. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will officially open the program this morning. The shortcut is for me to say all protocols observed. But I would like to acknowledge some of the important stakeholders. Of course, Richfield for hosting us this morning. For those that do know, we usually host in hotel venues that sponsor banquet events. For us to be able to give audiences like yourself the kind of experience we want to give, the fact that we run education programs should not mean that the standard of quality should ever be compromised. But this morning we keep that standard, and as Adam said, we are in a classroom. And as much as I'd like my name to have a prefix of doctor or professor, I will settle for Mr. in this wonderful, wonderful venue. So to begin with, ladies and gentlemen, you are officially welcomed to the official launch of the Educate 2022 Class of 2022 In It With You program. I'd like to welcome and honor and acknowledge the presence of the Gauteng Department of Education. We have various colleagues here this morning, and we also have Mr. Temba Nkabinde, who will be sharing a few words on the behalf of the department, specifically the MEC, who sends his sincere apologies. One thing I remember about the MEC that keeps me going about him, so whenever I ask him, how are you, sir? He says, Nkosnati, one day I'll be okay. So that always keeps me going. And we will be. I'd also like to acknowledge all of you present today. Thank you for making it. Thank you to our partners. You make this program possible. Without you, none of this is able to go on. And we will be acknowledging each and every one of you as individual partners in the initiative, and of course to ensure that the country knows which organizations are indeed active corporate citizens in taking this country forward. I'd also, of course, like to acknowledge in absentia the Minister of Basic Education, who wasn't able to attend as she is in Limpopo, but she did make the effort to get a pre-recorded message to us at about 11 o'clock last night. Just tells you about the commitment from the Minister, and a side note of my team to actually see that email at 11 o'clock. So I appreciate you guys. Esteemed guests, I'd also like to let you know that we are online, so please do connect with us on social media. All the pages are Primestars SA, and with that I'd like to also welcome our social media team who are with us this morning. In addition, of course, I'd like to also acknowledge the school leadership with us here today. To our left, we have some students who are on their way to greatness, who are going to be joining the program this year and are from one of our best performing students here in Gauteng, and that is Winnie Mandela High. Let's give them a round of applause. Winnie Mandela has some of the best performing students. They may not have all the resources, but they've got all the brain power to make it happen. And I'd like to acknowledge the school leadership, particularly Mr. Takalo, Mr. David Takalo, the principal. Please stand, sir. He has supported the initiative for about 8 years now. Mr. Ngabinde, that is a committed GDE employee. Please, let's take good care of him. He has supported us for a long time, and not just a principal who leads from his office, but he's at every cinema, every single Sunday, every morning for the duration of the initiative with his school to make sure that his learners perform, and perform they do. So I wanted to make sure that we acknowledge those that do assist us to make it possible on the ground, our teachers and our school leadership. Of course, Ms. Kanyo, Sabong, South Africa is a beautiful place. I'm so happy that you started with that song. Just aptly reminds us that regardless of the challenges we face, we do have an incredible country to fight for. And this initiative is one of those beams of light, or as Martin likes to call them, pockets of excellence, and that actually, keep the country going, and we can do so. Finally, let me acknowledge AMA 2000. This project is for you. I hope that today you take the nuggets from the people who make it possible, every sponsor in the room, your teachers, the department, the partners, the media that's available, not only the Mail and Guardian and all that are available. Take advantage of this opportunity. It is your time, and you can rebuild the South African dream, but we are looking to you to do so. With that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch of Educate 2022. So I don't want to take any more time. There's a gentleman here, whom I think most of you know, who has been driving this initiative now for over 10 years, and who will share the opening address to give us context of why we are here and why we are kicking off this initiative. I just quickly wanted to touch on why back to school. Firstly, thank you to all of you who kept to theme. I did try, but my blazer ended here. And not because of reasons that we all assume. Ngosnati gained weight. I am exercising when I'm not working. But I'm very happy that our clients really kept to the theme. But it really wasn't just about the uniform. It was about what it represents. It was about them. It was about reminding the country that the solutions to turning us around lie in the classroom. It was around us understanding that, as Madiba said, education is the most powerful tool to change the world. And we want to get the country to understand that investment in the classroom is where we need to be looking. That's where we need to get back to, and that's why back to school isn't just a term, but it's a way of life. You'll see in one of our videos, one of our past beneficiaries gave a brilliant talk speaking of how education is life. And the only way we will change our challenges, including ESCOM, will be educated people in the country that can bring new solutions, critical thinking to the forefront. And that's why we wanted to speak of back to school. And on that note, I will leave the podium and invite the principal of Primestars, Mr. Martin Sweet.
Ladies and gentlemen, when I came into the room this morning and I introduced myself to the person from GDE, he said, "My God, there's so many kids. Have some of them failed before?" So I said, "No, sir. I know, sir. We're all going back to those great times when we were at school." Now, can't take me anywhere. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be with you this morning, enriching the lives of learners through education. The world has changed significantly since we launched Matric Maths and Science in cinemas 11 years ago. What has not changed is the need for critical skills. It was important then, and considering the alarming dropout rate, it's critical now. A solid maths and science grounding is crucial, especially when it comes to acceptance for various degrees, future career success, and meeting the ever-changing demands of a technological world. Yet disparities in availability of resources in South African schools means that while some pupils excel, others get left behind. If our education system does not encourage the rapid development of the fourth industrial revolution-linked skills, we may face a new and worse era of economic exclusion. As part of our efforts to address this challenge, we developed a Matric Maths and Science program titled Educate, which utilizes Ster-Kinekor, New Metro, and now Avalon Cinemas as educational theatres of learning nationally. Now, we started with Ster-Kinekor. We got too big for Ster-Kinekor. Now we're in Metro, and this year, for the first year, we're in Avalon. So what does that tell you? That tells you that our sponsors are stepping up to the plate and really committing to this country. Now, the screenings are made up of 10 pre-recorded sessions, 5 in math and 5 in science. The sessions cover the entire Matric curriculum and are aimed at preparing South African youth from under-resourced areas for their final Matric Maths and Science exams. The program is simultaneously broadcast to a network of digitized cinema complexes throughout South Africa. Public schools based in townships and underserviced areas are selected with the support of the Department of Basic Education. Additionally, sponsors of the program can include their schools as well. So for 10 consecutive sessions on Sunday mornings, learners will be transported from their schools to the cinemas nationally, where the Theatres of Learning concept engages, entertains, and educates them by making teachers and revision accessible to those who attend the program. In addition, they will receive textbooks that contain valuable revision exercises and notes, as well as refreshments to complete the cinema experience. So, just a little story on the side. My mother wanted me to pass maths and science, but maths was a thing. So she got me William Smith. Some of the really older people in the audience will remember him. All of you don't remember him. But anyhow, he was the best maths teacher in the country. And he gave me private lessons. And it was from that concept that we decided to launch this program. And we found our own William Smith. He's a man by the name of Jacques Duplessis. He's amazing. Even when I attend, I actually go for the popcorn and Coke on a Sunday morning. But when I do attend, I start actually understanding trigonometry and all the other things, algebra, etc. Now, past interaction with learners as cinemas has indicated that they find this learning environment very stimulating, and as a result, concentration and message retention are improved. Participating schools have reported a marked improvement in maths and science results of the learners that have attended the program. And our sponsors will know that we do give a very, very important report at the end of the program. I think there are 2 or 3 reports. And the last report shows exactly how the matrics have improved their marks. And really, we've been getting results 16 to 23% above the national average. So really what it goes to show is if you do put a bit of effort in, and you do get the proper teaching for these kids, they excel. In 2020, at the height of the pandemic, we repositioned the Educate program as a pivotal COVID response. These efforts evolved into our successful Saving the Class of 2020. You'll all remember that. I remember begging everybody to get involved. Save us, save us. It was a national campaign which we facilitated. It was a public-private partnership to get behind matriculants in need. So over 30,000 grade 12 learners from public schools across South Africa benefited from the program, with the impact report demonstrating a marked increase of over 15% year on year in participating schools. So based on the success of the 2020 campaign, we continued the movement under Standing with the Class of 2021. So Saving the Class of 2020, Standing with the Class of 2021. The 21 campaign introduced a new multi-platform hybrid approach implemented in cinemas, rural schools, WhatsApp, and all new online learning platform, primestarsdigital.co.za. Now, I'll tell you a secret. I struggle with my computer. But thank God we've got young people like Innocent Mahali and Kosi Moshwana who really are tech wizards. And they came to me and they said, you know, this cinema thing, we've got to move on. And so we launched our Primestars digital platform. Huge success, wonderful for the kids, because those kids who can't get to the cinemas in rural areas and those places that we don't go to can still watch the program. And thanks to the best cellular provider, you know, they always say you may not be the biggest, but you're the best quality, Cell C. Cell C enabled us to give these learners the opportunity to go free onto this platform and download what they need to help them for their exams. So let's applaud Cell C. So 2022 is set to be the biggest yet as we celebrate 12 successful years of Educate and continue to extend our impact from the big screen to all screens. On that basis, we're proud to announce the new 22 campaign titled Class of 22, In It With You. Now, I've got to tell you that the previous two I came up with, but this one, Nkosi stole from Liberty Life. Yeah, so, but Liberty doesn't mind, because Liberty is in it with the whole country, and with us, they're in it with us as well. The Educate Initiative presents a practical, realistic, and scalable model of how business can help to affect the learning relations by contributing to the education of its future leaders and workforce through technical innovation, exceptional teaching, and dynamic interaction. And that's why it's great to collaborate with organizations like Omnia. Omnia have been the most phenomenal organization. They are so keen to ensure that this country moves forward. And I really take my hat off to them. They're wonderful people, a wonderful organization with the most phenomenal leader, who, by the way, also comes from Liberty Life, but he's a great guy. And finally, why do we collaborate with Richfield? For over 30 years, they have proudly prioritized both the teaching of technology as well as the use of technology in their higher education curriculum. Now, this isn't limited to just their BSc IT degree, for example, but all of their business and public management qualifications, which have a digital element in them to ensure that their graduates remain relevant in this rapidly evolving world. And we want to ensure that these guys evolve and become part of a new South Africa, where they become owners of businesses. But you can't do that without maths and science, and you can't do that without technology. So Primestars, to end, is extremely proud and privileged to be associated with our sponsors who made this powerful education nation-building initiative a reality. And I'm confident that others who share a similar passion of doing good will become partners in learning. It's imperative for the corporate sector to step up and work with government to accelerate the process of creating a skilled nation, thereby benefiting the economy and society as a whole. And for those of you who have not yet joined our Educate movement, whether you're with us in person or watching online, and I believe there are 200 people watching online, the time is now. To the class of 2022, we're in it with you. Everyone has worked hard to provide as much support for you as possible. Now it's up to you. Don't let us down. Please take advantage of the Educate platforms. All the best for your exams. I know that every one of you here today, after hearing Kanye's song about South Africa, will go and show that you will make us proud. And so thank you very much. Thank you to all of you. Thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here this morning so early. And let's make this country great again, in Donald Trump's words.
One more applause for our principal, please. I've got a team of different role players. As you can see, Taryn's one of the prefects. She tells us where to go, how to go, walk in line, keep our shirts in, make sure we keep quiet in class. We make sure we stick to the theme. Thank you very much, Martin, for that speech. Now, for those that know the kind of events we host, the importance of this kind of event is to set the scene of why we've all collaborated behind this initiative. And of course, to the audience that's watching online and to the media that's going to write about this event, it's about also contextualizing what role all the different players want to play in the initiative. So Martin started on one of my responsibilities in terms of running the agenda today, in terms of recognizing the different partners, and we'll have some of them talking a little bit later around what role they are going to be playing. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's for later. But I just wanted to touch on a little bit on the theme for 2022. The initiative, since it was conceptualized over 10 years ago, was designed to be a revision program that assists matriculants excel in the last mile. The whole process and the thinking and the design behind the program was to ensure that learners who come from under-resourced communities, who have the same capabilities but just have resource challenges, would have the kind of push we need to get them to excel in their results in the last mile. For those that ask, is that not too late? We say no. Because the reason why we collaborate with the department is to say, how do we strengthen the pipeline of students coming into grade 12 so that we can give them the strength of what we have in grade 12? We found that the best partnerships are with organizations that understand what they are good at. I know that Prince, for example, from Omnia, is very good at driving strategy. So he and his team, led by Tina and the rest of the colleagues at Protea, actually drive us in a direction according to what their strength is. It's exactly the same with the departments, exactly the same with our collaborations with press and other partners. It's about building on the strength of our collaborations. So in the program, our strength is in activating young people around the country and in mobilizing teachers, content, and edutainment to get results. And that's the aim of the program. But as Martin mentioned, in 2020, we had the curveball. And at that stage, we then had our clients saying to us, your model has always been mass reach, and that has been our success factor. How are you going to do it in a time where the world is saying less is better? And what we then had to do is collaborate with our partners, and where In It With You came from, just to clarify, is from the partner that in that year, one was the first to commit to us saying that we want to drive this initiative even within the challenges of COVID-19. Second was then around how we're going to drive the continuation of this campaign. Saving the class was to the public. Standing with was with the public. And we wanted to give a personalized message to you as beneficiaries. And welcome to Marlborough High, by the way. I saw you guys coming, welcome. The message was to be driven to them. The message was to say, we are in it with you. The message was to say, Sasria is in it with you. How? They talk about the work that they do in the space as an SOE that's actually helped the country through this challenging time we've had with the devastations. The message is Standard Bank is in it with you, right? The message is AECI is in it with you. And we wanted to drive a message that's really directed directly at the beneficiary base of the program. So that's part of the In It With You campaign, but it's also around an initiative that I'm driving within our organization to bring our partners closer. So we're no longer coming to partners and saying, here's a done deal. Can you please give us money? I'll always ask you for money. But we're working together on how we're spending that money. And that's the drive with this year's initiative, but particularly to drive the message around In It With You. And I've got a number of partners I'll recognize throughout the event. But at this stage, I would like to take the opportunity to get one of those partners that I've been talking about, the Gauteng Department of Basic Education. The project runs on 4 levels. Cinema, which has been an incredible edutainment experience, learning on the big screen, and that's in all 9 provinces. We then innovated to a rural school model, which the country's been grappling with for a long time. But COVID forced us to turn our 5-year plans into 5-month plans. I'm sure you'll all agree. And what we do there is that if you cannot bring a learner to the cinema, how do we take the cinema to them. And what we've done is that we've created mobile cinemas around the country. One benefit, Danny, and I like that you look at me right in the eye, because that's Danny from Attack, ladies and gentlemen. And we use one of their malls, it's the Mall of Africa. It's an incredible venue for us. But why the cinema works is that we are able then to go into communities we've never been in before. And we've created jobs by actually supporting small businesses in these communities. Some of them are here today. Dumelo is here from one of the organizations, from School Media. Very young team that has driven a national footprint. We create jobs in the communities we go into by coordinating our teachers and facilitators in the area. And we screen in local centers, either school halls, community halls, town halls. And now Richfield has also offered these classrooms for us to extend our content as well to reach more learners. And the third layer Martin touched on is the digital platform. And why I want to retouch on that is just the importance of us being able to understand the hybrid model that your program is pioneering in the country. There is no initiative in the country at the moment that's got the mass reach of this initiative, that's got support from the public sector, that empowers teachers in the process, that is enabling learners to be able to access this innovative content, that is now providing a centralized distribution platform for past papers on WhatsApp. So because of your support as our partners, we're able now, from the 31st of July, when we kick off this weekend, provide these young people and tens of thousands others free access to content on WhatsApp by the touch of a finger. And of course, in addition, Martin's mentioned the online platform where all the videos, all the revision notes, all the content is available. So it really is an integrated program, and it's an important message we need to get out to the press. It's an important message we need to get to you that's watching from home to understand that this is an integrated initiative, that it's not one way, it's very interactive and offers the learner a benefit. With that being said, our pillar is government, for us to be able to access these schools and connect with them. And I'd like to welcome one of the senior directors at the Department of Gauteng Development, Department of Education, whom, as a province, actually represents 45% of our beneficiaries, which is why it's important we hear from them. Come share a few words before we continue with the agenda. Mr. Ngabinde, welcome, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited to be here today. And of course, when we see our learners, I'm getting more excited. My name is Themba Nkabinde from the Gauteng Department of Education. And I must say that the welcoming has been so beautiful this morning. I met Nkosana, then the next person was Mr. Martin Sweet. He's very sweet, I must say that. He's very sweet and passionate. Me and him, we're in the same WhatsApp group. And I must say, he gave me his speech. Then I read the speech so quickly, and then, now he didn't finish the speech there. There's a Dlangezo High School there in his speech. One learner from Dlangezo School made a comment of how this intervention has made her to achieve great marks in mathematics and science. By the way, Dlangezo School is my school. That's where I went for my matric. Thank you. Greetings to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Program Director, the sponsors that are present here today. Private-public partnership is the way to go. And I'm excited, of course, to be here and definitely get a chance to meet all the sponsors. I must say that I'm not here representing myself. I'm representing the top management, as the chairperson did indicate. The MEC is inundated with a lot of work in Gauteng. We're on the move. As you well know, that the MEC has a program of the reorganization of schools, and the schools of specialization are being launched left, right, and center in the province. And today, it's a launch of the Tembisa, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship School of Specialization with a focus on hospitality and tourism. There's going to be a series of these schools that will be launched. Our presence here, exposing us to the sponsors, will tell you more about it, and then you'll just come in to support. Of course, the top management, being the MEC, being the head of department, who's also in another program, all right, and the DDG, who we report to, and of course what you call the other line, what you call chief directors. May I take the opportunity also to indicate to the audience that I'm not alone here, because there's action after this. I'm with my team, the team of subject specialists, mathematics, physical sciences, they're here. I've got Ms. Fulon Mashapa here, the physical sciences, the provincial coordinator for physical sciences in the province. And I've got Mr. Pesi Tebeila, the mathematics. And I've got my 2 Cuban colleagues who are for mathematics and science. They're also in our midst. Mr. Sweet, these are the people that as we leave this room today, communication to all our schools will be flying, telling them about this program and what has got to happen. I must indicate, ladies and gentlemen, that the MEC would have told the audience that in the Gauteng province, we have installed smart boards in the quintile 1 to 3 schools, and that program is continuing to have smart boards in all classes, grade 10, 11, and 12, even grade 8 and 9. Program director, we have the smart boards in our schools, of which this program will definitely be streamed. In those schools, we're gonna communicate, thank you, we're gonna communicate to the schools and say, there is this particular intervention that will be starting on the 31st of July, and we would like principals of schools to start having the learners going to Sundays for mathematics and science revision program. This our MEC refers to as the last mile. You see, only prepare for the Olympiads. Ouch, our girls have done us proud. The Banyana. Ouch. If you recall how long it took them to work hard and strive to be where they are and what they've achieved, you'll understand. It simply says hard work pays. Our policy in the department is clear, that we want to instill that culture of hard work, dedication, commitment, endurance, and always believing that you can make it. So, the Banyana is an epitome of such kind of dedication. This is what we kind of like want to instill in our learners. So our MEC gave us what we call this particular strategy, how we captured it. He said, as we prepare for the matric exams, the NSC class of 2022, we need to prepare like Olympians, going for the Olympiads, right? So this particular intervention is located within that particular strategy of saying, we want to see the mathematics and physical sciences learners ready, not just to pass by 30%, but to pass excellently so, and achieving the top results in mathematics. Of course, Nkosnari did share with me that this particular program, it even provides sponsorship for learners to further their studies. How brilliant. We're excited about that. So our grade 12 learners in mathematics and science, we then are saying, Mr. Sweet, as we will be part of the cinema, watching the revision program, we would want you to see the high-level questions that the learners are struggling with in terms of the NSC exams results. Of course, as we're getting what you call the percentage pass, being not that what you call exciting, only a few getting higher percentages and all that, we've realized that it is because the high-level content that learners has got what you call to work towards achieving, they're not achieving that. I want to believe that the program is going to begin to focus on those high-level cognitive questions. Mr. Sweet, you are in for it with us. I did mention that our schools have got smart boards, connectivity to those schools, it's happening. The zero rating of this connectivity by SLC is welcomed. It's going to add to those schools that definitely might have run out of data. Okay, all our schools are getting 40 gigs of data every month, you know. So this is definitely going to begin to make it easier for our learners to converge in the classrooms and begin to be part of this particular intervention program, this particular last mile program. Now, Mr. Sweet, what we kind of like would want to get, I've listened to you carefully, right, that there's been an improvement in learner performance, especially learners that attended the program. However, the MEC would want to see the instant impact of this program. Instant. What are we going to begin to propose, if it is not happening, Kosan, is that we've got to measure the impact of that lesson at the end of it. How? Learners has got to respond to questions that have been posed, and we have a way of capturing how they're responding to those questions. And then we're in a position to report instantly on the impact of the program. We are definitely stronger on that because National would want to know. As you know very well that the Gauteng Department of Education is very strong when it comes to the secondary school intervention program. We're running camps, we take our learners to the camps and all that. However, the question is asked, how impactful has it been at the end of the camp? How impactful will be this intervention at the end of the show? That is easy. The tutor will pose questions, learners will begin to respond. We have a way of capturing how learners are responding to the question. And then me and my team, Nkosana, we therefore ask, this Saturday, from the maths lesson, science lesson, right, the questions that were posed and all that, how did the learners perform? We start reporting, we begin to see the impact of the intervention. That's why we are as a department. Of course, Mr. Sweet, you know very well that last year in mathematics we achieved 68.2% in mathematics as a province, and 78.2% in physical sciences as a province. We're optimistic that the public-private partnership, together what we call with you, Mr. Sweet, and your company, what you are doing is definitely going to take us to the next level. That's why I'm saying, we are in it together. It is by no mistake that, you know, we are here at the level of implementation with my team here. The whole public of Gauteng, in fact, your percentage of 45% of your audience is going to increase to be more than 45%. It's going to be almost all the schools. We've got a challenge of increasing mathematics and physical science participation. So this kind of support, where learners know that there will be this last mile, you know, by Primestars, that will definitely be an impetus for them to know that there's a shoulder to lean on. There is support. On that note, Program Director, may I really extend our appreciation as a Gauteng Department of Education of this particular intervention. And we are in it together. And we're definitely going to begin what we call to support it as of today. In fact, in Nkosnati, if we do not send you a memorandum that has gone out to schools, though I think we're a bit late, that is going to go out to schools communicating what we call this intervention, then hold me up to that. On that note, Program Director, thank you very much.
Hi. Unfortunately, because of other commitments, I was unable to join you in person this morning to celebrate the incredible milestone of the Educate program launching for the 12th successive year. I'm told that the theme for the event is Back to School. So I'm sure it is a nostalgic moment for you. The theme does not
program. We've got two videos that we've got prepared for you. One is by the Minister giving her message of support, particularly to you all as stakeholders and our specific partners. And the second is more of a highlight video. It's more of a highlight reel for those that haven't participated in the initiative before. And those that have participated before, we want to remind you of the why. So though we are all the ones standing at this podium talking about the initiative, it's always more important for us to hear directly from the beneficiaries of the initiative. In addition, can we just get the sound going? Thank you. So in addition to that process is that we've also got some of our beneficiaries here this morning to talk about their experience. So for us, we're here just to bring through the formalities. We'd like to hear more from some of our past beneficiaries who've been through initiative, who've been to the cinema, who've been on the platforms, and we can actually talk about the process of the program from that perspective. While they are trying to sort out the sound, I'd actually like to move forward with the program and let us continue on time because I would like to keep us to time. So with that note, I would like to call up one of our, I won't use the word oldest. I won't use the word oldest, but I'll say he's probably one that surprised me the most. So in our plans with this initiative, and Tina, you'll remember, because when I was pitching to Omnia, you were quite driving us around how we're going to ensure we get this project to more students. And I said to you, we're putting together a new social media strategy and we're going to lean on our partners. And we got together a new social media team. And a gentleman here today, his name is Mohammed, and he'll tell us about himself, was part of a team that we met about 5 months ago, who are now re-envisioning our model. So Pauline, when you put us together at Rolig with your team at Motsepe, what we were talking to them about was a social media strategy that's going to ensure that this initiative blows up. So Mohammed here was in the team that I gave the strategy to around what it is that we want to achieve with this program. Just so happens that in that meeting, one of his colleagues said to me, Nkosi, there's a story Mohammed wants to tell you. I said, I like stories. And it just so happens that in 2008, Mohammed was a beneficiary of this very program. Incredible story. So Mohammed's going to share a little bit around the journey he's been through. I think it's just an incredible story around Full Circle. Adam and I were talking earlier about one of their own full story circles. And I think this is one that's also going to make you, Pearl, as Standard Bank, happy with the work we're doing in ensuring that our impact comes back around, because I know that's very important for you. So, Mohammed, without further ado, please do come through and share about your story. Please welcome Mohammed to the stage.
I'm not short, I'm down to earth. My name is Mohammed. Everyone knows me as Mo because of that Arabic ha that you have to pronounce. You know, it's a bit difficult to pronounce. The thing is, I came from an under-resourced school. I came from a place called Primestars. You pretty much probably haven't even heard about it. You'll hear about larger townships like Tukoza, Katlahong, which surrounds Primestars. But Primestars was one of those spots on the map that you don't seem to visit. You know, you drive past, you fly over, it's just there. That's where I'm from. And in the last year alone, I've written for companies within the UK, in the US. My career went to places I've never imagined. Of course, it would have went in a very different route if this initiative was rolled out to grade 11s, because as you know, it is in grade 11 that you decide what you're going to study. So whilst I was good at science and maths for the reason of being good, you know, because you need to pass, you need to get into university, you need to get those A's, you need to have your bachelor pass. I had already signed up for English literature, which, you know, my parents honestly thought was a Mickey Mouse degree. They would have wanted me in accounting or something of the sort, you know, Indian. So yes, I was good at it. But I was good because I had to be, not because I wanted to be. So my story today is about perception. It's about perspective. It's about passion. It's not a sweet speech, but it just doesn't make because I mean that's what was drilled into me, in my university. English was one of those subjects you can't fail. And nonetheless, what it comes down to is the fact that when I went to the cinemas, go for these additional lessons, I was invited. So for us, it was an experience. It was a day out. It was an adventure. I went for these programs, and something shifted. When they say the penny dropped, when a moment stays with you, and all that you can know is that if you have to look back at your schooling life, which moment stands out? Maybe the moment you made a first friend. Maybe it was a moment that, a teacher complimented some form of your work. For me, Coke and popcorn at the cinema. Because it was then that something changed. It was perhaps taken out of my environment and going to the cinema to see these lessons on the big screen that gave me a different form of perspective. It gave me a different form of understanding. Because now, I wasn't solving for X. I mean, you ghost your X, you know what I mean? You ghost, you don't solve for X. I mean, X, come on. It taught me something else. For me, maths was not a lesson that taught me how to count. It was a lesson that taught me how to think. And then if you have to look at science, science always tells you, come with your hypothesis. Come with your assumption first, and then let's test it. So it taught me that it's okay to be wrong sometimes, if you are willing to find out where you are wrong and how it changes. And something as simple as that, especially for business owners, changes what happens with your tax, because now it's no more payee. It's Section 18A. Sponsors, you know what I'm talking about, right? So what it comes down to is something simple, is that this initiative is amazing. Yes, it can change your marks. Yes, it can assist you in getting better grades. But for me, it taught me something else. It gave me the passion for that. It gave me the understanding that it's not just about what you see on paper. It's something that you use in your everyday life, in everything that you do. I mean, something as simple as a scientific reaction. For every action, there's a reaction. Of course, in life you learn after the reaction comes the consequence, but nonetheless, that's what it comes down to. It's the fact that you learn how to truly think. And that is what we need. We don't need simple A is equal to B, which will then be equal to C. No. Take the A and turn it into a Z. Show us your steps along the way. Build that path. Build it. Not just for you, but for the generations to come. And yes, it's come full circle. Who would have thought, digital advertising, digital media, traditional media, who would have thought it would come full circle to a point where I can be here today to be able to speak about that moment of passion that turned my life around, that changed my life, that made me what I am today. There are a few moments in a man's life, or a woman, or anyone's life for that matter, where your life changes and you can pinpoint it to know that this was definitely a driver of that change. For me, honestly, this attending that cinema with my friends, learning something that I've learned in the classroom, but seeing it in a completely different way. Changed not just the way that I see my lessons, it's changed the way that I see my life. Thank you.
That's incredible. Thank you, Mohammed. One more applause for him. From the learner, I'd like to then move to the educator, which is one of our biggest assets in our initiative, probably one of the most overlooked as well in the ecosystem of education. And I'd like to call up Ms. Sandy Naidu, who is an educator at Marlborough Secondary and who has been one of the educators who support the initiative, to come and talk about the impact she's experienced with the program.
A very good day to the esteemed guests, program director. You know, as I sat there in my seat, it just dawned on me that I don't have the titles you have. I'm hearing director, I'm hearing minister, I'm hearing all these important words. I'm just a humble classroom educator. And I go by the name of Mrs. S. Naidu, and I teach at Marlborough Gardens Secondary School for the past 22 years. I've been serving as the head of department for mathematics and science, and ever since this program was conceived, I have readily been a part of it. And I'm so glad, more than 12, 15 years later, I am still very much a part of it. For our sponsors, I know the focus is on the learner, the benefits to the learner. But I don't think you realize the impact you've had on educators like myself. I personally am a self-taught physical science educator. My origins are in biology. I never thought I'd find myself doing physical science 20 years down the line. And now I challenge anyone to uproot me from that post. It has become my first true love. I am extremely passionate about science and, of course, the main subject, mathematics. Without mathematics, science is very little. So, as an educator, I need to let you know that you are doing a great service in terms of education. You are empowering us. You are giving us the confidence. You are giving us the ability. You are providing the support, which we don't normally get in normal circumstances. But we know we have this avenue. We do our best in the classroom. And personally, this part of the year is a highlight for me. When the syllabus gets completed, it seems done and dusted. The most important part of the year is that revision. And that quality revision, those model lessons, those exam techniques, those skills, please, they must never be underestimated or underrated. Truly, this unconventional format of screening a lesson, it is so different from what happens in a typical classroom. Now, I don't know how many in the room today are actually in the education field. If I could just have a show of hands, are there any other educators in the room? Oh, I have my colleagues here. They will surely bail me out that teaching is a very daunting task. It is extremely challenging. It is one of those professions where the rewards are not tangible. And certainly, we're not in it for the money. I could go on about that, but I'll just pause right there. We do it because we are passionate. We really and truly care about our learners, and they become, I don't know, super important and super special when they're in Matric. Because we realize how much effort is involved. I mean, being in Matric is a challenge on its own. Being a learner doing maths and science is a challenge on another level. So any kind of help, any kind of assistance is most welcome. So I've been attending these lessons faithfully with my learners over Sundays, and I personally have grown in my classroom, and you know what? I've even grown professionally. As I stand here today, I've received the last Top Achieving Educator Physical Science Award. So, representing the Johannesburg East District. And right here in front of me is one of my immediate bosses. And she'll bear testimony to the fact that I've even grown in the field of Matric NSC marking. I started off as a marker. I graduated to a senior marker. Today I'm a deputy chief marker. So I have some title. But again, that kind of growth and development was not by accident or mistake. There was hard work involved for sure, but it's programs like this that give you the edge. It makes a difference. At my school, for example, I think it's like a record, more than 15 years straight, 100% pass in physical science, right? With an average above 60%. We're at the top. And the truth is, we're situated in Marlborough. Okay, we're not as unknown as Palm Ridge. We're on the map. We've got Gautrain next to us, right? But we're situated between the township of Alexandra and the beautiful suburb of Sandton. So we're sandwiched in between. But I'm very proud to say that we are surrounded by these elitist schools. And yet when the results are distributed, we are always in the top 5 as a township school. So yes, in terms of mathematics and science, big improvement. Not only with our learners' results, but our educators. Our educators are certainly a force to be reckoned with when it comes to mathematics and science. And we do go the extra mile. We traditionally teach 6 days a week, and we know that when the term 3 starts, it will be a 7-day week. And it's okay. You'll still find us there on Monday morning, full of vuma, full of vibe, ready to stand and deliver. The difference is now we feel a little more energized, a little more confident. And it's beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful feeling to watch the screening unfold and your learners start to build more faith in you. Like, oh, she was right all along. Okay, she knew what she was talking about. And in my case, we teach our learners from grade 10 into 11 and into 12. And, you know, they take you for granted when you become too familiar with them. So it's absolutely lovely to see the external influence and support. It really goes a long way in building that faith and heightening the level of commitment towards academic studies. And unfortunately, I could not bring with me ex-learners today because we do have learners who have produced outstanding results with 7, 8 distinctions, etc. None of them were available to accompany me today. I tried. Why? Because they are busy at engineering school, they're pharmaceutical lab, they're in med school. They are out there making it happen. So they have forwarded apologies, particularly Tayeba Fakir, who was one of those learners who was featured in the newspaper as well. So what I did do to inspire the upcoming learners, I've brought 3 of my current matriculant candidates with me. Amongst the 3, I'm just hoping maybe 3 out of 3, there's going to be 100% for maths, 100% for physical science. They don't know it, but that's how much I believe in them. Obviously, in a classroom, it's always like, you need to work harder, this is not the best, etc. That goes on and on and on. But as I stand here now, I'm at the point to say no. I have full confidence that this year will be no different. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all the sponsors from both the public and private sectors. The support of the GDE has been tremendous as well. We warmly take this invitation to heart. We will be participating once again. We never want to be left out because then I'm telling you I'll feel seriously disadvantaged and hurt. So it's something we look forward to. It's something we don't take for granted. But I don't think you realize that your investment is not just in the learner. You are investing in the learner for the last 2 months of their life at school. I'm going to be there for the next 20 years. You're doing a lot. So my closing statement to the sponsors, I just read something by Benjamin Franklin, very short but very apt. You should know this. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. So thank you very much. We look forward to continuing the program with you. Thank you.
How many of us want to go back to high school and go to Miss Naidu's class? I've got some marks to improve, man. I got 85 for math and science in Matric. I had an issue with my Afrikaans teacher because she gave me 79, which was one short of 6 distinctions, and Wits would have given me a full bursary. And then I rewrote, and I got 79. So I guess it was me. But Ms. Naidu, thank you very much. Your passion is clear. Your passion shines through. You reignite our passion for schooling. I think educators, as I said, are the country's biggest assets. You are our second parents, and we appreciate you, and of course our teachers from Winnie Mandela, and we will continue to support you. Thank you very much for your commitment to the initiative.
Unfortunately,
We'll now listen to our leadership in the Department of Basic Education, and then I'd like to move on to the section where we'll then hear a bit from our sponsors. We've been talking quite a lot about them, and we'll then move on into a very exciting section of the agenda. Thank you very much.
hi. Unfortunately, because of other commitments, I was unable to join you in person this morning to celebrate the incredible milestone of the Educate program launching for the 12th successive year. I'm told that the theme for the event is Back to School, so I'm sure it is a nostalgic moment for you. The theme does not only represent the venue that we're in, but more so should be a reminder of what all the hard work in the program is for. As a Department of Basic Education, we have walked this journey with my spirit and the Primestars team, and are grateful for the massive contribution that Educate program has made in assisting the 12 learners in need to improve their final marks. Since its inception, the impact reports that are presented to us have demonstrated a marked increase of 50% and more in participating schools. We cannot attribute this achievement to Primestars' innovative use of cinema as theaters of learning. I'm excited about the fact that the program has expanded its reach from the big screen to all screens. It is now available in rural communities as well as online. As a department, we will continue to support the Educate program to ensure its continued success and growth. I'd like to acknowledge all sponsors and stakeholders that make this program possible. Without you, we will be here. Thank you to Liberty, Project Chemicals, Celsi, Bidvest, Standard Bank, Sasria, and all the corporate stakeholders that continue to prioritize investment in science. I wish I could show more gratitude personally, but a big thank you to all of you. For those who have not joined the Educate movement yet, I encourage you to support this much-needed academic intervention. Finally, thank you to the principals, teachers, learners, and parents for their contribution to making the program a success. Congratulations to successfully launching Educate Class 2022. We're in it with you. See you in the cinemas. Hi. Unfortunately, because of other Primestars team, and are grateful for the massive contribution that Educate program has made in assisting grade 12 learners in need to improve their final marks. Since its inception, the impact reports that were presented to us have demonstrated a marked increase of 15% and more in participating schools. We can attribute this achievement to Primestars' innovative use of cinema as theaters of learning. I'm excited about the fact that the program has expanded its reach from the big screen to all screens. It is now available in rural communities as well as online. As a department, we'll continue to support the Educate program to ensure its continued success and growth. I'd like to acknowledge all the sponsors and stakeholders that make this program possible. Without you, we won't be here. Thank you to Liberty, Protea Chemicals, Cell C, Bidvest, Standard Bank, Sasria, and all the corporate stakeholders that continue to prioritize investment in science. I wish I could show more gratitude personally, but a big thank you to all of you. For those who have not joined the education movement yet, I encourage you to support this much needed academic intervention. Finally, thank you to the principals, teachers, learners, and parents for their contribution to making the program a success. Congratulations on successfully launching Educate Class 2022. We're in it with you. See you in 6 months.
Education is a social process. Education is growth. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself.
From your generation should also come people who are going to come with the solutions to the problems that relate to global climate change. For some of the various medical conditions that are debilitating the human body, when you sit and study alone, always have the bigger picture in mind.
And let me tell you, it starts here. It starts with 3 simple things: commitment, respect, and accountability.
For us, it's very important to support this kind of programs.
Business.
Ever since the project started with Primestars, our learners have gained tremendously in terms of education.
It's very important that we attend this because I realized that my maths were not so good in maths and science, but then this initiative is very grateful in as far as improving my maths and me doing better in the near future, especially in my prelims.
Majority of us have been getting good maths ever since we started from the first session.
I'd like to thank the sponsors because they're not just helping me individually, but they're helping other households in the country.
My daughter was one of the learners that was attending here, and she managed to come up with 5 distinctions.
We support what they do. We do not gain anything out of it. We do not benefit anything out of it, but we benefit a legacy of changing mindsets in townships.
We still appreciate your decision to partner with the Department of Basic Education since 2006 in improving math, science, and technology, and never anticipated that this partnership would last this long with great success.
Our country desperately needs to improve its performance in maths and science. We're going to be working very hard as South Africa, particularly as government, to ensure that we establish the knowledge workers of the future.
We want to encourage other, especially private institutions and other government departments and government state-owned institutions. This is where we need to invest.
If you want to develop the youth of tomorrow, you need to shift their mindset. So they've been shifted, they've been programmed to go out and become great leaders, and that could not have happened if it wasn't for you. So we really thank your support, we really thank your mentorship, your coaching, your guidance, and the funding. Thank you.
From me, and I said that the program has made an incredible impact until this far, Mr. Ngabin. But the question now is about, okay, guys, great, you've got this incredible talent of young people, what now? So the partnership with Richfield is about what now? We need to be a one-stop shop that ensures that Unkosnati, that is in Matric, gets the support right through, and when he excels or she excels, now gets an opportunity to go right into an institution like Richfield that prepares you for the skills of the future, and from there be able to plug back into your ecosystem, and that in that way we'll be able to truly achieve proactive skills investment. That's the vision there. Thank you to PwC. Thank you to Sizwe IT. Where's Lerato? I still want my picture. You dressed so well today at the back. Thank you very much, Sizwe IT. The HCI Foundation, who supports us with buses in the Western Cape. And speaking of the Western Cape, just from a healthy competition perspective, Mr. Nkabinde, the Western Cape Education Department does support the initiative as well. They couldn't be here this morning. but they do a lot of work with us in the Western Cape. The commitments you've made this morning, I'm going to keep you to, because they're doing a lot of work with us down there, and we want to expand that around all the provinces. A very good, healthy competition there with, I think, the departments. Of course, thank you to Airlink, who supports us, and BCW, who enables us to ensure that we can continue to get media coverage for this initiative and for you as partners. And of course, again, thank you to the Mail and Guardian and to everyone watching at home. We appreciate all that have supported us in this initiative. And with that being said, I'd like to then give the opportunity by first introducing to stage one of our key partners to share a few words. Thereafter, I'd like one representative from each of the partners to prepare themselves. We've got a special ceremony we are going to be taking place before we close this very exciting morning. Like Mr. Sweet, we like to keep it short and sweet. I'd like to welcome a lady who's become a mentor to me. She saw me walk into Primestars many years ago and continues to add value to my career personally, but also is a supporter of the initiative and others. To represent Liberty this morning, I'd like to welcome Ms. Nomaxabiso Matjela to share a few words.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity, Primestars. It will be amiss of me not to mention I'm not alone. I've got the people that pay my bills. So I'd like to say welcome Tracy Ansa, who's our Divisional Executive for Corporate Citizenship. And I also have Mr. Pirikisi, I call him Sir, Maxwell Pirikisi. He's a Divisional Executive for Stakeholder Engagement. And I also have from our business, the emerging consumer market, Mr. Rams Modibane, who is part of the worksite development area. So, I mean, I think I've got a simple task. Everyone has said really important key points. I just wanted to highlight why we as Liberty part of this. So when we look at our mandate as a business and also as CSI, education is what we support. It's actually a key. And I mean, I think it's overemphasized why the need of education and why is it important to support it. So I don't really need to regurgitate what you've already have shared here. But we take pride really where we support initiatives that are systematically making a change. And we look at things like, is this making an impact? Is this really measurable? I really like the representative from the Department of Education talking about the instant impact that this program will start need to evaluate. Because the challenge as a country, we support all of these initiatives. I mean, if you see what we spend as a country in CSI, about 10.1 billion as corporates, and really, are we really seeing the impact? And so those are the things that, I mean, my task, it's very hard. Those are the things that make me not to sleep at night, because I need to think about, is it really making a change? And I then have to say a no to a lot of people and really have to say yes to those that are really making that difference. And as a business, I mean, our key is really to support the country. The DBE is quite important, and we would not have succeeded on this if we are not with other partners. So PPP is really important key to us, for us to be able to achieve what we need. And really on a personal note, I mean, when I looked back, I realized that I was actually one of the beneficiaries of such a program. But I grew up in the Eastern Cape, PE, Rebecca. So I attended one of these programs, and it really, really made a difference. And I also attended, by the way, I attended one of the schools similar to you. So it enabled me to actually get a 97% in mathematics, by the way. And the importance of really investing in mathematics and science. I mean, as a country, we've seen the skill shortage and the mismatch of skills. And really, the higher education gone into a detail of detailing what are the key skills that we really need to be focusing on. I mean, the economy is about demand and supply. And if we're not meeting that as an economy, we're not developing. So as a business as well, our it's so opportune that our purpose is improving people's lives by making their financial freedom possible. So for us to do these investments, we know that the economy is struggling currently, but I mean, we need subjects as maths and science in order for us to achieve in terms of to meet the gap that really the scarce skills require. So this is really why we support it. And the message to you, class of 2022, I mean, you're really a resilient group. When I check back, I realized that you started your FET phase in COVID at the midst of the pandemic. So really, I mean, this was the most challenging time globally. I mean, you can attest to it. I want to say to you, you have been affected and affected by the pandemic, like all we have been. However, you're still here, which means that your race in this beautiful and complex world is not done. So what I really wanted to say is the possibility of this world is endless. I mean, you saw what NASA discoveries came with recently. So for you to participate in that and for you to participate globally, passing your mathematics and science is really key. And for you to have access in the higher education or whether you want to do entrepreneurship, maths is key. And it's a basic and fundamental that you understand that. So don't give up. If you don't try, you don't learn and you don't grow. So at Liberty, we're saying, give it your best shot and good luck. And we're in it with you. Hence this is why we support you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sis Noma, and thank you very much to the Liberty team for remaining supportive of the initiative. Moving right along, I'd like to call on one of our speakers in the next organization. Now, we've started a long-term working relationship with the Protea and Omnia Group in our programs, from career guidance to our Step Up Youth Entrepreneurship Initiative, and now in the Math and Science program. And together we are looking at investing sustainably in communities that they operate in, but also nationally. And to talk more about the role that they are playing in the initiative and sort of the vision that they have in achieving objectives, I'd like to call on Ms. Babalwa Lukwarene from the Protea Omnia Group.
Thank you so much, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's such a privilege for me to stand in front of you to represent Protea Chemicals, a member of the Omnia Group. I'm here with some of my executive team members and colleagues, and we are really excited to continue to support this initiative, and also, you know, to just re-emphasize with the class of 2022 that we are hashtag in it with you. It's really such an important part of our business. It's an important part of society because without maths and science, a lot of the things you know, that are happening around us, a lot of the work, a lot of just the basics of life, you know, start with the maths and science. So Utata said it very well. Education is the most powerful tool to change the world. And you can change your world. You can change your life. You know, through this initiative, it is an empowerment for your future to say, I can do something with this. I can think outside of the box, and I can create and be part of teams and processes that really create something that none of us have ever imagined before. The world is changing rapidly, and we need people, we need students, we need pioneers to say, we need to think differently, we need to adapt, and to be able to plow back into the societies that we live in. So as Protea Chemicals, a member of the Omnia Group, we just want to reemphasize that we are in it with you. We want to support this, and we will continue, and we are really, really privileged to be part of this initiative. For me personally, maths and science changed my life. I'm from the rural village of Ngobo in the Eastern Cape. I had nothing for myself except education. I saw it as a tool that changed my life, and it has changed my life and my family's life tremendously. So I just want to encourage you today to say, yes, you're at this phase in your life. You are in July. The exams are coming. There's so much pressure. There's so much happening in the outside world. But you know what? Without hard work, without the discipline, without the vision to create something different for your life, these are the tools at your disposal. These are the initiatives created by Primestars, initiatives created and empowered by the sponsorships that all the different companies here have offered to you. Take it with you, run with it, create a vision for your life, and be disciplined and work hard for it, and the results will pay. The results will come. So from Omnia and from Protea Chemicals, we just want to say good luck with the exams, good luck class of 2022, and we are in it with you. Thank you.
Class of 22, it's up to you. It is up to you. Thank you very much for that, Babalo. And I'd then like to call on from Standard Bank, Ms. Zanele Shabalala, just to share a few words around Standard Bank supporting the initiative.
Thank you, Program Director. Mr. Nkabinde from DBE, thank you so much, and Matric class of 2022, and all protocol observed. As I sat there listening to Kanyo's song this morning, it resonated with Standard Bank's purpose, which is Africa is our home, we drive her growth. And how do we drive Africa's growth? We start in South Africa by driving the growth of the youth. And and in that, Standard Bank is a bank. Everyone wants to know the figures. Why are we investing in such a program? What is the impact? And if there was no impact in this program, we wouldn't be investing in it. We wouldn't be here today. And then today is a special day for all of us. The Educate launch and the Matric class of 22 are making a milestone today, showcasing the impact of the program. I know that this has not been smooth sailing, with COVID-19 in our midst disrupting our schooling system. And just as we were coming to terms with COVID-19, the KZN floods happened early in the year, and our matriculants were affected and disrupted once again. To all the matriculants present today, you were not born to just learn. You were born to inspire, to change, and never give up, even when faced with challenges that seem impossible. I must commend all of you for your perseverance. Sometimes it's not easy to undo what you have known. Having a teacher in front of you, to reverting to new ways of learning to improve your results. We as Standard Bank are happy with our partnership with Primestars, who has outperformed in its objectives and mandate. I guess the results are visible, hence our gathering here today. For if the program was not a success, we would not be here celebrating the launch of the program. To the class of 22, continue raising the batons that other children can take from you. Light the way for them in order for them to be better citizens of our country. Shine your lights bright in the communities for others to see and follow in it with you. I'd like to thank the team for the wonderful project they are implementing. This is kind of you, and again, Standard Bank is humbled. Let me end by the words of the great Martin Luther King Jr., who once said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. So let's keep moving forward, and it can be.
Indeed, let's keep moving forward. And I think Ahmad 2000 will say, and if you can't walk, we'll dance. Just moving on then to our final speaker before we move on to a special group activity. I hope there is a representative from each of the companies I mentioned. I believe there is. We'd like you to come forward, but I'll explain shortly. Before we get to that, I'd like to call on a lady who has challenged our team throughout the process of our collaboration to continue to do better, to continue to extend to more rural communities, to continue to close the digital divide. And I think they're playing an active role in ensuring that we can do that in this initiative. I'd like to call on Ms. Elsie Matlo to represent CELSI.
I believe it's still morning. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, all protocol observed. Nkosinathi, thank you for giving me an opportunity. Today, I'm not alone. I'm with the whole corporate communications team. They're all there. I'm not going to mention all their names because this is the whole team. Yeah. You know, the thing that you just said now, it's very true, Nkosinathi. I'm also from a rural area where access is actually close to none. And I remember my Matric days, I was also doing physics and maths. And back then it was high grade or standard grade. So I was doing high grade. So come exam, I wrote my exams, and then, yeah, I didn't do well. And then they downgraded. If you don't do well, they downgrade you to standard grade. So even when they downgraded me, I was still a D. And for me to be able to get into medicine, I needed to have A or B in standard grade. So if I had an opportunity to have this kind of an initiative, I think I could have done very well. So yeah, I'm from CELSI, and our purpose actually here is to actually give access we are a digital partner to Primestars, and we've been working with Primestars for quite some time. We have a very good relationship, and we're still gonna continue with that relationship because education is very key for us. 70%. I had CSI, and education is one of our strategic pillars. And 70% of our budget in CSI goes to education, Baba. And the reason that I was so excited participating in the Primestars program is that it reaches out to the rural areas. So as CELSI, we made sure that we zero rate this platform so that it doesn't matter which service provider you are in. The youth, we see our youth as our future leaders. They need to have access to information. We are living in an information era now, whereby everything we get it from our gadgets and everywhere else. So that is very key for us as CELSI. So, you know, when you're working with PR people, they do scripts for you. So they want you to stick to their drama and stuff. So yeah. So just to emphasize on the part of education, to just give you that comfort to say we are actually doing this in education. We also demonstrate that through our See Youth program, which is a program that is aimed for youth. We see youth the way they are. We don't see any gender, we don't see anything, but we see youth. So we have that program that we have at CELSI that we are running that focuses on youth and the youth development. So to the class of 2022, it's all up it's all in your hands, guys. Primestars is here to give you resources. We are here to make sure that we get access to that, and it also goes to the rural areas. And I'm sure that those schools that are connected in the rural areas, they are going to benefit from this. I'll look at the reports in Jan, as I usually do. And I want to tell you that, you know, they give us reports and we see the improvement, especially in the rural areas. So yeah, and in the townships, and yeah. So it's a very good initiative that you are running. To class of 2022, I'm going to read this so that I satisfy my script writers. They are, as SLC, we are saying, seize it, grab it, and all opportunities grab all opportunities with both hands. Run, don't look back. You saw the script. If I was talking from my heart, I would have been done by now. Seize your opportunity, and it starts here. With you, invest in your education and the future by seeking resources that will enable you to change your world. We at CELSI, we are in it with you to change your world. So that digital platform that we are giving through to you to access, use it for the right thing, and also make sure that you go to the cinemas, you get your friends to attend as well. It's there for you. Thank you, Primestars, for the opportunity, and thank you for making sure that we invest in the future of our youth. Thank you.
I think I'll also throw in the script here. Working. Thank you very much, Elsie. Very heartfelt, and thank you so much for your support in being a digital partner in the initiative. And can we have one more hand in for Elsie Matlo? We are now very close to the end of the agenda, and we are in a classroom, we are at a campus, we are at an institution. So, I would like to call on Mr. Sweet. Come showcase your nice suit over here. And I'd like to call on Mr. Adam Kelly from Richfield to also showcase his nice two-tone. Ladies and gentlemen, we've said a lot about appreciating you as our partners, but we thought that the best way to take this agenda to a crescendo is to appreciate you through a graduation. So, I would like one representative from each of the organizations, as I call them, to come through. You will receive, firstly, if you've not graduated before, the process is such. I'm explaining like I know, but I'm still studying now. You will shake Professor Sweet's hand and receive your certificate of completion and appreciation. You'll then move over to Mr. Kelly and be officially kept. And then you will please stand with us until we complete our list of each individual. And together we will stand for a media picture that will be distributed to the press of South Africa to be covered in this weekend's papers and going forward. I will.
And your mom and dad will be very proud of you.
Very true, very true. And I'll also just ask some of the learners to join us once we're done. So, let us move forward with this. I want to ensure we stick as close to time as possible. And once we are done with the graduation, ladies and gentlemen, in that moment where everyone feels the passion to throw their heads up, I will immediately call Ms. Kanyo to take the event home. So, to begin with, I'll call on a representative from Liberty. Hats. Congratulations to Liberty. Next, I'll call on Omnia Protea. Following, I'll call on Standard Bank. Congratulations, Omnia, and thank you. It's been a long year. It's been a tough road. Next, Elsie. Next, can I have a representative from Bidvest? He looks like a graduate. Congratulations. Next, Sergio. Sergio has supported the initiative for 5 consecutive years now, enabling learners nationally.
I just want to say something special about Sergio. You know, after the burning of South Africa, yet still they continue to support education. And I think they deserve a standing ovation.
Amazing. Next up, call on ACI. Woo! ACI has been one of our longest supporting organizations. We're going on 9 years now. 9 years. Martin's smile is very wide.
I've never had so much fun in my life. All these beautiful women. Not only that, all these very intelligent women. I mean, look, they all graduate. Isn't that amazing?
WTB, Women's Development Business. Just a point to note, I think it's a reflection as well of how the program is female empowered as well. Incredible. SPA. You look fantastic. Congratulations. School is over. Anglo. Anglo-American. Create a second line. Roller Grunrod. Roller. Congratulations, Pauline. She's our driver at Roller Grunrod, making things happen for us. Zutari. Senzi from Zutari, formerly known as Oricon, now Zutari, and still investing in the development of engineers and critical skills in the country. Big smiles. The Attack Foundation, represented by Mr. Denny. Attack Foundation supports the initiative. We also use Mall of Africa and other centers in the initiative. Terran I'm going to need you to come down because our next recipient is Richfield. And Adam can't cap himself. Here we come. One of the best dressed ladies in the room, Caesar IT. Come through, Loretto. Definitely looks like an A student. Just to confirm, I know there are some guests that had to leave a little bit early. PPS, HCI, Airlink, and BCW. I believe they've asked me to accept in their set here. Can we confirm? We do confirm. DJ, continue. I would like our photographers to now assist us in getting this media picture coordinated. Right in front of me. Maybe come forward for me. Can you come a little bit to the left? Danny, you're right at the back. Two students from Marlborough. Ma'am, you and your students, two students. Mr. T, can I have yourself and two students, please? Yourself and two students. Maybe a boy and a girl? Yeah. Come through, guys. The students, your knees are still flexing, right? Come through, Tanya. Thank you so much. As we now close the agenda, I'd just quickly like to say, it wouldn't be school if someone didn't lose their phone. It wouldn't be school if someone didn't lose their phone. We've got is that yours? Are you sure? You have to unlock it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are now closing the agenda, please make sure that we enjoy the sounds of Kanyo. We'd like to thank everyone who's been here today, from the department to all our partners, the media at home, the Mail and Guardian, of course Richfield for hosting us today, our schools and our teachers, my team, Mr. Sweet, thank you very much to the sound team and everyone that's enabled us to make this happen today. And of course, Mohammed, thank you for flying from Cape Town and landing this morning, taking a plane, a train, and a car to get here. We appreciate you very much. Before you leave, please make sure that once we listen to Kanyo, you sign the t-shirts, please. Remember our t-shirts, I don't know how long Matric is. But at the end of Matric, we write on our shirts a message, positivity, of support. In this case, it's a message to the class of 2022. And this year's best performing school with the honor of having that board. So please make sure you write a message and of course with this information. There is lunch. Enjoy some lunch before you leave. And the last request I have is that our photographer and our videographer need to get more content from every one of the partners. So please, before you leave, we need at least one representative from every one of the partners to give us a 30-second message on here that we're going to distribute to the press, and then it's going to be part, of course, of the social media coverage as well. So please can we have one representative from each of the partners. Here we'll have our cameraman in front of the board, including yourself, Mr. Ngavinde, please, and some of the learners and teachers to ensure we get that message. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the class of 2022. We are in it with you. Thank you very much.
I think now it's time for us to dance. We've been sitting down. Now it's time for us to shake what our mother gave us. I have a fun money, I have a flat. They will try to do this. Just, can you all stand up now and dance?